I was able to go with a team from Glenwood to Haiti to work in Port-au-Prince near the STEP campus. Originally we thought we'd be working at the Merger School building kitchen facilities, but because of weather circumstances we ended up working building a house for a woman named Chantal who lives in the neighborhood near STEP.
Chantal was a widow. Her husband had passed away, and during the earthquake she lost her housing, as many people did there. She lived for 2.5 years in a tent, a very dilapidated tent.
I went with a team of 4 to Doro, South Sudan to work with the Serving and Mission team that is located at Doro, a medical clinic team led by Dr. Rob Congdon.
Our responsibility was to put the roof on a living facility in the nutrition village.
I've been going with Heart of Hope Ministries International to Romania for about 11 years now. I've been able to go to work at a camp there that's for orphans, both teenagers and children.
I've been to a number of countries that are third world countries, for lack of a better way to describe it, where there's need, but I have to say Haiti would be as dark or as hopeless, as discouraging of a place as I've visited.
One of the things that really struck me is we have missionaries that serve long term, and I'm thinking of like Bruce and Cindy, and then of course Mason and Lauren as they have served. They've built a trust, and people look to them for what they've done and respect them, and it's just a platform where I believe God is being lifted up and glorified.
The Doro area is a sparsely populated area inhabited by the Maban people traditionally, so maybe 10,000 people in the area. But right now, because of the military conflict that there has been between Sudan and South Sudan, there are close to 100,000 refugees from the southern border area of Sudan, the northern border of South Sudan.
And the missionaries saw that as an opportunity for 2 things. One, to continue the work that they're doing to a large group of people, but also they saw it as an opportunity to reach different tribes in one location now because of all those refugees coming in that they could not reach in other times.
They have a background of, some of them, of abuse, physical, emotional, and then for a lot of the girls, by the time they're like 15, 16, they usually are doing some prostitution and those kinds of things. Most of them come from a gypsy background, which is kind of the outcasted culture there. So they come from a background of their parents sending them out every day to beg.
Then you go to a place like Merger and you see changes. Even just in the short time I'd be there, you'd be able to see smiles from people.
Well, in Merger, Johnny and Rosa Deet, through the church and through the school, I think they've really changed the culture there. It just seems like there's progress in the way people think. The students that have gone through the school have come back. Some of them teach there.
I saw every day 75, 100 people by 8:30 in the morning are lined up to go into the clinic. And before the people come to be processed through the clinic, Dr. Rob would lead his team in a morning devotion. And we were working one morning watching, and I thought, you know, you got all these people, you ought to get to work. But Dr. Rob, as I listened to his voice and the fervor with which he was teaching from Scripture, I realized, no, they need to do this first, because this is God's work. First you pay attention to God and what He's doing in His Word, then you go to the work of serving the people that He's brought.
They know that this opportunity with the refugees coming in is a tremendous opportunity for them to reach out with the gospel of Jesus Christ. There's over 100,000 people there from all over Sudan. Dr. Rob was talking to me about this, and he said, who knows, but that for just a time as this, SIM has been set up in Doro.
The head leader of the camp is always a Romanian native, and this year It was actually somebody that I had met 10 years ago when I first started going, 11 years ago, and he actually grew up in the children's home there, so he was an orphan himself, and he came back as a leader of the camp this year. And he was just a man too who just really trusted God, and just has completely given his life over to Him. And you could just really see that as he worked with the kids there.
Really striking to me that those kids who have been through the school before, through Johnny and Rosa Dietz' work, Johnny and Rosa Dietz put these kids through school, not just teaching them, but would use their own resources to make sure these kids made it through school, and that those kids are grown up now and are coming back and teaching in the school to help others like them make that same journey.
When we see the missionaries that serve long term, it's almost like their name, but when you actually see how they affect the community where they are, it's really eye-opening.
Often we work with kids and we trust that God is working through us, but being able to see the evidence of that in somebody's life and just see how their life was changed because of Christ and because they had the opportunity at that camp.
There is so much God is doing in the world, and He has privileged Glenwood to be involved in it. Anything we can do, those of us who've been part of a GO team, to encourage the church to be involved, whether it is by prayer, by going, by giving, by all three, we need to tell the story of what God is doing so that Glenwood can experience and be a part of the great mission that God has in this world.